Hey, if you guys are just joining us, we've got Kim and Mark from High Rollers here, along with Mellie. We're talking about Candlekeep Mysteries, and I wanted to get into some of our favorite monsters in the book. So I believe there are about 14 completely new monsters to the book. There's some really super weird stuff in here. And I just wanted us, I've forced my guests to pick a few favorites so that we can go around and highlight a few. Kim, what was your first favorite monster in Candlekeep Mysteries?
I just want to say, so I've not managed to read all of the adventures yet. It's only been a hot day so far. But some of these adventures, they're super dark, y'all. I love them. As a fan of horror, I love them. But at the same time, I want to reach out to the author and be like, are you okay? Is everything okay? But yeah, the adventure that, especially as a lover of classic horror, the one that caught my eye was Shem's Bedtime Rhyme. Super messed up. Really messed up. It's kind of about like a nursery book. I mean, nursery rhymes are pretty gross, creepy, and weird when you think about them. So it's about that, and kind of like this book that contains an evil spirit that kind of gets into, and they have a song, the nursery rhyme, that gets into people's heads. And I really like the adventure. But yeah, from that, the creature, the monster I love is Shemshine themselves. Classic kind of horror, dark, evil spirit, stalks the night and the players. Yeah. And, hashtag, I know it is a Kim answer. But like a little bit of a spoiler, it's not a classic encounter. If you encounter Shemshine, he can't be dealt with in a classic way. You have to get creative. You have to figure out, the nursery rhyme and listen to the clues that are seeded throughout the whole adventure. It's not just a classic, like, I'm going to fight you until you die. And I like that. I like unconventional encounters. I like it when you have to think and you have to put things together. So Shemshine, that's my number one monster today.
Number one.
Yeah, and the way that it was built too, like, it just gives a real sense of those horror movies that are like, here's a bit of folklore or nursery rhyme, and you're gonna have to solve it and get rid of the thing. Like, that's kind of the magic of those movies, and this does that
100%. Yeah,
real classic folklore story kind of vibes for sure. Super
cool. One that I love, maybe a little more traditional in the we are going to fight it sense, is in The Joy of Extra Dimensional Spaces. And like Kim said, I guess we're mildly spoiling. If you don't want to know what monsters appear in adventures, stop watching this video and just start watching a different D&D Beyond video, and then spend the day just watching D&D Beyond videos. Thank you so much.
And after that, also, go buy Candlekeep Mysteries and read them. Read the adventures.
It's available now on the D&D Beyond Marketplace, isn't it?
D&D Beyond Marketplace. Links in the chat. Links in the YouTube description.
Guys, what was that? Sorry, say again. Where is it available right now? I could go and buy it now. Where is that?
At the D&D Beyond Marketplace?
Wow. At the D&D Beyond Marketplace.
Oh, whoa.
Which is a beautiful seg for talking about my favorite monster in the book, capitalism.
The truest monster of them all.
It's
the highest CR monster we can imagine.
It's got an AC that's too high to hit. From The Joy of Extra Dimensional Spaces. Solve the puzzle, and then you just don't last. But the animated chain library. I just like myself a sentient room. Who does? Bewitched or otherwise. I love just the idea of fighting an angry room with that throws books at you, that throws chains at you, that knocks bookcases over at you.
Is the best.
This is very much my jam.
The idea of fighting a room feels very therapeutic with the pandemic. Yes, I would like to destroy this room and never see it again. That would be awesome.
Yes, please.
I can also, as a DM, I can see that being a fun one to do, theater of the mind style, because often, sometimes when you play theater of the mind, people are like, wait, how far away is that guy again? Where's this bad guy located in the room? And you can be like, it's the room. The enemy is the room you're in. It's the whole room.
Which is great for me. I'm so bad at describing distances. This is embarrassing, but I once described the distance away from a monster as you guys know about how big an Arby's is?
Listen, you gotta make it relatable. If they know,
to be fair, they were like, yeah. And I think one of my players was, To be fair, one of my players was like, "Do they have a play place?" And I was like, "Yeah, an Arby's with a play place." And they were like, "Okay, so I can't make that distance." And I was like, "You can't yet, unless you dash." That said, Mark, top a sentient library.
Top a sentient. I don't know if I can top a sentient library, but I love Archfey, and the fact that we get a full Archfey stat block for Nintra. I don't know if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Nintra Ciotta, who's like the princess of shadowed glass. What a cool! That's first of all, that's a cool ass name. Yeah, princess of the shadow glass. That's awesome.
Mine
but
is
then
just
also
senior content manager. So yeah, that's a lot.
yeah, exactly right. What a great work title to have. But yeah, it's just super cool. I love the art, the visuals for that character. Super cool. Just exactly my kind of jam. I don't want to go into it too much because again, they're very tied into the mystery and stuff like that. But super cool abilities. I love any kind of legendary monster with like legendary actions and layer actions. Mwah! Oh, chef's kiss. I love it. Give it to me. Give it all to me.
Mellie, what else are we giving to the people?
Yeah, I mean, I'm on your boat here, Joe, but I'm going with the swarm of animated books. I also love animated things. And I've made my own swarm of animated books in my own games that were not as good as this. And so now I'm just like, cool, I can use this. I think that they're great for just like any game. You can just throw swarm of animated books. It's great. Swarms in general are great because you're not like, here's one thing and you're attacking this one thing and every time you hit it, it's just whittling down HP. It's like you could hit 10 books with one strike. So it feels very epic fighting a swarm. Yeah. And also they have an action called Book Club. Yep.
That's their attack. They book club. I love that.
Genius.
That was such a genius little thing. Also, it's such a good fantasy trope, like you said, maybe. It's like, a swarm of animated books. It's such a good fantasy monster. Like, it's so iconic. It's great.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and every wizard tower needs this. It just comes with its standard when you buy your wizard tower.
Exactly.
Yeah. Perfect. No, that's default. If the Property Brothers walked me through a wizard's tower and there were no animated books, I would be like, I'm leaving, weird twins.
We're out.
Yeah. Absolutely gone. So the cool part about this video is we're not each just going to talk about one of our favorite monsters. We're going to go back around and talk about our second favorite monster. Kim, what's pick number 2?
So the second one for me, I believe it's in Candlekeep Deconstruction, which is such a fun adventure in itself. Oh my gosh. But it's the Skater Widget and the accompanying Kitty Widget, which are like little metal giant cockroaches, dog-headed cockroaches, which is both adorable but horrible.
Also horrible.
Yeah.
Like imagine that thing. And the name is so good as well. Skater Widget. It feels good to say it, right?
It does.
It sounds like exactly what it is too. Like you just feel kind of like that chill up your spine, but you're also like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, and I caution readers not to overlook the Skater Widget. That was the weirdest sentence I've ever had to say. But I wonder if because it's like the comedy adventure that people kind of go, Skater Widgets, which is also now my new favorite curse word. But like they actually like reproduce into smaller creatures and they're very protective of their own. So all of a sudden, like a swarm of Skater Widgets becomes now you're running your players through aliens. But with Skater Widgets.
So
these things will mess you up.
Yeah, it's got a reaction called Good Parent. So the Skater Widget imposes disadvantage on one attack roll made against a kitty widget it can see within 5 feet of it. So yeah, it's a very protective monster. And I love that kind of dynamic in a fight, right? Like, where you have affiliations, bonds, like what would a creature do if it saw its young being attacked? And yeah, I love that. I love the little feet. I can imagine it just like
well, and it's a nice it's a nice alternative if you have players in your game who are getting a little skittish about like fighting wolves and things like that. It's a robot. And I guess this tells you what side of the argument I'm on for Blade Runner, but like You can crush some Skater Widgets, no problem, you know?
Well, you say that, but like, I know that in our house, we are very, very affectionate and protective over our Roomba. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there who would be like, no, you can't, no, it's so cute. Oh, he's stuck.
And imagine it's helping like its little ones
robots
like cross the street. Like, how can you kill that, Joe?
Joe's like, easily. I'll smash it to pieces.
Yeah, hex.
Down with the AI uprising. I'm with John Connor.
Done with this.
Yeah.
Mark, what's your second favorite monster?
You know, Kim will know this, being a player in my campaigns. I love a good I find things like bullywugs and frog monsters very fun to DM because I get to do dumb voices for them. So having the Gripply back, because I know that these are from an older edition of D&D and they were kind of brought back in. But yeah, just like cooler frog lizard people that aren't bullywugs. And just, again, got like a really cool lore and history to them. They've got gross tongue attacks and those kind of things, but I can see those being like a really good balance, you know, because bullywugs are always kind of set as these kind of savage, kind of evil frog people. Gripply could be nice, cool, lovely frog people, which is always nice to have a little bit of balance to. And yeah, I think they look cool. I think they just look rad. They're kind of like, you know, I don't know, I can see like an animated Saturday morning cartoon about 5 Gripplies, you know, and their, you know, adopted, I don't know, rabbit folk father who trains them to be samurai. You know, I can see that. I can see that totally being a show. So
look, you just pitched Usagi Yojimbo and Battletoads, and I'm very, I'm very into it. Very here for it. Very present. No, and as the player of a small frog person in my office game. Here at D&D Beyond, I'm absolutely with you with this frog love. Mellie, what's your other favorite monster?
I love the Lycan Lich from the last adventure.
That was the other one I was looking at.
Yes. I mean, I just like liches in general. They're such good like story hooks, and it's why a lot of my campaigns end up with evil wizards, because liches are cool. Lycan Liches is like that for druids, and I'm so excited because I love using druids. I put like tons of druid circles in my games where they're just all different and unique, and having this like even just as a template, the Lycan Lich is amazing. But then it's got like legendary actions and layer actions that are really cool, and I am already planning to use it probably 100 times and making all my players really annoyed at how many times.
I love the artwork on this one. I love the kind of like ball gown-esque fungus dress that the Lich has going on, and like the big mushroom collar. Oh, so cool. I love it.
I want him to cosplay this monster.
Yeah.
Like,
oh,
and make it like phosphorescent.
There's a really cool lady on Twitter, Flora, I think her name is, and she does like makeup monster kind of like of D&D monsters. So like she's done beholders and all of this stuff. I could see her absolutely doing such a cool like skull with like mushrooms growing all over it, and then this big fungal collar. Oh, like costumes like that I think are so cool.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I got it. My second is also to kiss up to one of our guests. I really like the Green Hag trio. I don't know if it's because I like Hocus Pocus a lot, but I love the idea that you gave us sort of some, you know, nemesis characters for an adventure that also don't necessarily like each other and have their own dynamics, you know, like, you know, the sisters in Stardust and things like that, which I super love. And I'm going to force insights into the into the sisters out of you right now.
Sure. They were probably the thing when I wrote my adventure. I think the Fetid Gaze is their cover name. They're probably they're my favorite thing in the adventure, and probably something that I consider the best thing I've written, like for a D&D campaign. They were really fun to write. They're 3 green hags. I don't, you know, this a major spoiler for the adventure. They're the kind of villains, and they're in disguise. So when I wrote them, I wrote there's 2 descriptions for them. Their disguised form, which has a different name, and they have a personality traits and things like that. And then they have their true form, which has got some more information about them and things like that. They don't like each other. They used to be enemies, but then you kind of united over a common cause, which causes them to kind of take over some stuff for it. And yeah, there's a little, you know, they all have their own little agendas. They all have their own personality traits that can be exploited, or that I think a DM could find really fun to play and manipulate with and kind of use against the party. I've purposely written in that, you know, There's a lot of funny stuff that you can do with them in terms of like, one of their big things is using very subtle insults to kind of get the party to think that they need, makeovers and treatments and things like that in a various different ways. One of them's all about, strength and athleticism. One of them's all about physical, vanity and beauty. The other one's all about healthy living and things like that. So there's ways that you can really kind of like get some subtle digs in and try and really kind of wriggle in like the players, the characters' insecurities rather, to try and kind of push them down the nasty stuff that's been going on. But yeah, they're my favorite thing in my adventure for sure. They're 100% my favorite. Super
fun. I appreciate that when most people would think about power as like, what level spells should these have? You were like, no, the most powerful thing of all, like women's media.
Yeah, gaslighting. Yeah,
horrible gaslighting.
Yeah,
exactly. I really love that they kind of just have this like semi-multi-level marketing feeling to them, which I love. But also, I got like this Mean Girl sense. Like you could totally run them as the plastics. Yeah, and that's exactly 100%. Like my players would love that.
Heathers,
yeah, that's exactly I did that for recently for the PAX Australia guys. There was one who was really kind of digging in the wounds, but doing it in such a kind of like, no, I'm here to help you way. Like I'm telling you what's wrong about yourself that you need to make better so that you can be with us. Like it's like, and it feels gross to do, but you're like
negging.
Yeah, it's like mega negging. It's awful, but it worked really well. So
I said to Mark that the reason why he's won Candlekeep Adventures and written the best adventure is because he has a dog in it as well. He has a dog called Morty. Like, what more do you want? There's a dog.
And he's not just a normal dog. There's a lot more to Morty. He's very sweet. He's a sweet boy.
Yeah.
He's a good dog.
Yeah.
He's a good dog.
Good boy. He's the bestest of boys.
Yeah. Sure. Please keep
we've been nice enough. We've been nice enough to Mark.
Stop. I don't like it. I don't like it.